and I've certainly done plenty of underdog drafts. For those that are in the best ball streets, you will know me as C Money Mitts, and I have exclusively draft off my phone up until now. This will be the first time, I believe, ever that I've drafted off the PC, so that'll be interesting to see. Got the 8 slot. Let's see if I recognize any of these names. Lot of red badges. Looks like folks that have probably been around the block. That guy Mikey sounds a little familiar. Definitely Stroud to be Texans fan. That guy and I always draft at the same time. Makes sense that we're both in Texas, though. Um, Jordan Ch Chand? Yeah, no, can't say I recognize that one. The 8 spot. This is actually, probably one of the most interesting, draft locations that there is. It's all pretty locked up through the first 5. Jackson Smith, Ninjigba kinda rounding out that top tier of wide receivers. And then the running backs, kinda open up. I love CMC. I think he's gonna continue to um, be a dual threat and catch a ton of passes, even if his running game has dramatically fallen off. But I certainly expect the 49ers offensive line to be healthier, getting Trent Williams back. Guy's the biggest game changer in the game. So um, certainly think that CMC rushing production is going to improve from this last year, which it was abysmal. But he caught like what 100 balls, something insane like that. Yeah, 102 receptions. Pretty wild. Um, excuse me. So pretty much going as expected, so far. Got James Cook coming to us here. CD Lamb next on the board. I kind of like James Cook here, but you know what? Let's take CD. I am tuning in from Dallas after all. I actually live yeah, just outside of the Dallas area here in Richardson, Texas. And as you can tell from the title of the YouTube channel, for those tuning in on YouTube, Daily Destination Draft refers to just the pure volume of best ball drafts that I do. Again, I've exclusively drafted on my phone before this, so I'm usually out and about, oftentimes grabbing a beer with friends. I'll say, let's spin up a draft, and I have them draft with me. Um, most of them have no idea what best ball is, and but they watch the NFL and it's a good time. So I tend to draft while I'm out, and I thought it would be a good way to create a channel, maybe share the love of best ball that I have with some others out there, as well as um, maybe meet a few of the other folks in the best ball streets that would want to join me for a draft. All right, we're on the clock here. Oof, I love neighbors. Cannot go wrong. Okay, so unlike the meta out there, of which I am in agreement with, you typically don't love your teams if you don't get 2 out of your first 3 draft picks as running backs. This year it dries up quick. I don't love the running backs kind of coming in this next crop. We were fortunate in 2024 to have what we did. I think we had some pretty good talent coming into the league last year, but um, I don't feel good about being able to piece it together. Let's see how it works out here. All right, Chase Brown would certainly be good. I love both Josh Jacobs. Bucky Irving is gonna have to just play better than he did. He was injured. He had some personal stuff going on. I don't really know what that's about. At one point he was like living with his coach, I think. Um, so it would be okay to get either of those guys. Kenneth Walker looked like a freak this offseason. He's so boom bust. A lot of times it ends up being more the bust when it matters most for some reason. I do like T and AJ Brown a lot, and I wouldn't mind going with the dominant wide receiver start here. This guy, it's a pretty solid start there. Okay, here we are. Three guys in the queue, two picks away. Feel pretty good about all of these gents. Still one of the best in the game. AJ Brown. All right, we're going heavy, heavy NFC East. So, one of the strategies I think that really works in big board drafts right now is stacking in division opponents because the one thing that we know about the NFL schedule is it's always going to include more international games. And oh, I really am not looking forward to the day when we have international teams and the headaches that that will cause for fantasy football. But aside from that, what we know about how the NFL crafts their schedule every year is that they stack divisional opponents in the final few weeks of the regular season in order to increase the chances of those games having playoff implications. Um, Obviously, playing an in division opponent is going to have a bigger swing on your ability to potentially make the playoffs. So they stack those up. Even though we don't know the schedule at this point, we don't know week 15 through 17 schedule. We can optimize a bit by targeting those in division opponents. I love this start. I think it's probably not all that uncommon, but most people are hammering their running backs. Like they should, obviously, because I'm not loving life as it relates to my options now. I feel like I'm going to be able to target some great quarterback values a little bit later on. I'm going to reach here on Quinshawn, who I believe to be incredibly talented. And the one sure thing that that offense has is him. Even if they don't have a quarterback, something tells me he's still going to get fed plenty. Didn't even get to be around the team last year due to that off-field controversy. Should be fully engaged. Definitely was banged up at the end of last season, but I believe he will be good to go for the start of the season. All right. Let's see. Coming up in 11 picks. Definitely an unconventional start with the three wide receivers. Feel like I had to catch up a bit with Quinshawn. I'm not touching Scatabo. Sometimes a guy just plays with an intensity that his body can't sustain, and he gets injured. It's almost like when Mike Evans is trying to do a little too much, and he always pulls his hamstring. Like you, you can always see right before he does it. It's like, no, no, Mike, dial it back a bit. Um, so yeah, Cam's got bows like that, but on speed every single play. I think there was a movie called Speed where the guy like couldn't let his heart go down. No, I mean there was a movie called Speed with Keanu Reeves. I remember that one, but there was another one, Crank. I think it was Crank. Either way, I digest. I digress. I also digest food on occasion. Okay. Definitely wanting to go with the running back here. If he's still there, good. Man, I love Terry too. I'll take Terry. Happily take Terry there. Here he goes, of course. All right, feel good. Either one of these guys. Definitely prefer Javante. Stack him up with CD. We'll make sure to get Dak. I might even end up going to some Cowboys games next year if my very first dreamed draft ends up looking like it's going to be a hit. Jerry World's just right down the corner. All right. I'm going to have to reach potentially on Jalen Hurts, who I just love as a quarterback. Feel like uh, everything went wrong that could have gone wrong. We should see improvements. Same defensive coordinator's back. Maybe that's not a good thing for fantasy, but I just don't see how we have him projected for 25 fewer points this season when last season certainly left a lot to be desired. Okay, speaking of Mike Evans, one of my favorite picks this year. I think he's literally been undervalued every single year of his career. Um, yeah. Oh, let's get us some DeAndre Swift. Catch up at running back a little bit more. Good value too. Really don't mind stacking him with Kyle Monangai as well. Not one of the most beloved moves by others, but I do feel that it improves advance rate. In my mind, no question about that. Then the question is, are you at a disadvantage in the money weeks, week 15 through 17, having two players in the same backfield? I do not believe so, especially with somebody like those two who just seem to like alternate, who had an explosive game last year. It would certainly have been helpful to have both in best ball. Okay, let's see. 8 picks away, looking like a lot of pretty strong wide receivers still at the top of this draft pool. I think, though, we may have to reach on our DAC. Got to grab my DAC. Um, let's just hopefully nobody does anything silly here and pulls on my DAC before I get the chance. By Tootin should do it for us. Hmm. Not today, Jose. Yeah, let's see. Not a lot. I'll be happy to get Dak, and if we don't, yeah, Dak feels a little safer to me than Jackson Dart. Again, with the intensity, like, is is he gonna be able to sustain running like that? No. If he stops running like that, is he gonna be able to perform? Probably not. So we know Dallas is gonna throw. They love to let Dak throw. I don't think that George Pickens is getting out of the building. Um, I think he'll be hard to trade in the tag and trade scenario just because it's a lot of money, and then you gotta pay the man, and you might be hesitant to invest long term. So, I think Dallas is gonna run it back with their receivers. It seemed to work really well last year. Okay, 3 picks, bing, bang, boom, big Laporta fan, and I can get Goff at a nice little discount. It's my second quarterback likely in 14 picks. And honestly, if not, I'm happy to take Bo Nix. Plenty of stack partners behind him. I have absolutely no idea why we're projecting him for significantly fewer points than he's had the last 2 years. His touchdown totals weren't abnormally high. He could probably even clean up the interceptions a little bit more. And oh, guess what? He's got room to rush the ball even more. Bo Nix is easily my favorite draft target this season. Close, Jordan Love, 330 points 3 seasons ago. Like, we know that his upside is there. We know there's a lot of talented wide receivers. It's crowded, but it's not like that's a problem for Jordan Love having too many people to throw the ball to. And I think he's still maturing a bit as a quarterback, and it feels like this is the year where things might actually kind of all click together. I believe he could really put those legs to use as well. Let's see. Yeah, 200 yards from 47 yards. His 4 touchdowns was definitely a bit of a fluke, but hey, I think it's not unrealistic to expect half that. See if we can't get him two if he stays healthy this season. All right, looking good on my Jared Goff to get to me, but we got a couple of solid fallback options. Maybe gonna throw Jacoby Myers in the queue in case we just need one more option. All right, that's a bummer. There goes my Goff. Hmm. Yep, we're gonna end up going probably Bo Nix here. Yep, that's what I want to do. Cool. I really like some of Bo Nix's stacking partners late in the draft. It actually makes me feel better about the early wide receiver start, knowing that I've got wide receivers that I want to target in the later rounds. So now I feel a little bit more comfortable about attacking tight end as well as running back a bit earlier. This is also a start that I'm kind of like right on the borderline of feeling confident enough to only roll out with two quarterbacks, but having the 20th round, there's usually going to be a guy that I feel could be a potential starter there in the late rounds that'll pick up. Aaron Rodgers is probably the easiest one this year. Won me a fair amount of money last year with some of my teams when people weren't drafting him this time of year. They just aren't sure if he's going to play. They hired Mike McCarthy for a reason, right? I think the tea leaves have kind of been blowing in that direction that he's going to be coming back. And of course, Mr. Rogers isn't going to make things easy in kind of that announcement. He's going to have to do the ayahuasca retreat and then like a silent retreat and then like a retreat from retreats. But then eventually he's going to come back and he's going to get rid of the ball so fast that he doesn't throw any interceptions and he doesn't take any sacks and he doesn't throw for that many yards. But he is going to have some games against really crappy defenses when he goes nuclear. All right. Love me some Juwan Jennings here. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him. Actually, no, give me Godwin. Like, guys, Godwin, good player. Is it Is it supposed to be better drafting on the phone? Because like, the fact that I can't now click on Chris Godwin's name to see his stats s seems like a pretty easy, thing to enable, but, maybe I'm not supposed to be, screen sharing or something like that, who knows? Okay, let's keep a better idea on this, hmm. I mean, why do we not like Debo Samuel? You know, the man has shown us what he can do. It's definitely a dual threat. Sorry, y'all. If I could speed this up, I would, but it just takes as long as it's going to take. Let's see. Also, kind of like me some James Conner. Believe James Conner is a free agent. Let's see. Nope. He is got a 9.8. Oh yeah, big cap hit. Only 2.2 dead, so he could they could have some pretty decent savings. A little over 7 million in savings, but I think they're gonna probably keep him. What are my other options here? Jake Ferguson, baby. That's who we're going with. If we can get him. Oh, he just went. Not cool, man. All right, well, I will happily take Mr. Jorge Kittle here at a nice discount. It was the clean kind of Achilles tear, you guys. And do you remember that year that like Cam Akers came back like that season or something? Well, it was something ridiculous with the Cam Akers like recovery from that Achilles. He was like playing football like I don't know a couple months later. Um, if Cam Akers can do that, have you seen the like Viking man George Kittle? Like if it's capable of him healing faster than normal, then he's going to do it. The man loves the game of football, potentially more than anybody else in the NFL. Um, if I can get a discount on in best ball, especially when I already have a Sam Laporta to keep an eye on things, feel pretty good about that. J.K. Dobbins, another kind of like crusty veteran that feels good. Trey Benson could be his shot. Alvin Kamara. It's not like that contact balance goes away overnight. All of those are guys that I've been taking a lot of. Speaking of taking a lot of, let's take a gander while oh, we're waiting. I think it is going to be Mr. Connor. Definitely going to take a third tight end. Again, 20 rounds, plenty of options late. What do we have? 13 picks. I like grabbing these guys, these later rounds if they're still there. I guess it's time to get my late round wide receiver on. This is going to be our 13th pick. Probably time to start loading up on some wide receivers. Makes a lot of sense. Likely going to be a 2 QB build, unless Malik Willis gets to me. Every now and then, you get a little crazy with Jacoby Brissett. That could make a lot of sense with our James Conner teams when Brissett isn't passing for a ton of yards and a couple of touchdowns. James Conner is going to be hammering it in. So I feel okay about that from an advance rate perspective. Don't expect Connor to catch a ton of touchdowns, but it's not like he hasn't done it before. I would check if I could see his stats here, but I can't, so I won't. Um, all right, Mr. Stroud to be Texans. Okay, they're going to give me here Malik Willis, which I feel pretty good about. I'm going to do that to get my third QB. So I was one of the many last year that bought into the hype around building these 3 QB teams, and, in my mind, yeah, it's like a higher likelihood that they contribute points to your best ball team in the 13th round than I don't know, maybe this isn't right, like Kayshon Boutte or, Josh Downs. Actually, those guys are I don't know, those guys would probably contribute more now that I'm thinking about it. But, um, safety of that 3rd QB really comes in handy. It just seems to allow, like, ho-hum teams, across the board to finish, 2nd when you've got consistency at the quarterback position from the 3 different guys. Having a couple of down weeks from an injury or 2 or underperformance at the same time can really tank your score and be the difference between that 2nd and 3rd place finish. Ultimately, the difference between generating a profit, a nice little ROI on your best ball portfolio versus having to be the guys that, "Oh, yeah, you're just about broke even." All right, man. I like all these wide receivers. These 3, I feel good about it. They could take 2 of them and would still be happy to have the 3rd. Gonna need to address that 3rd, tight end. I know exactly who I want there. Okay, gotta get the stack. So we got our guys stacked up here a little bit. Certainly wouldn't hurt to grab another running back, next because it really drops off quick. I don't love a lot of the running backs. There's tight ends that I actually quite like still on the board. Braylon Allen, Sean Tucker are likely my picks here. Either one gets back to me. What am I, 11 Wake, 5 in the queue? Let's see if I can. I wouldn't hate a Tajay Spears. I haven't taken a lot of them, and I feel like Rashad White is going to get a contract, and um, he's going to catch a lot of passes because that's what he does, right? Receiving, yeah, he's going to do all right. I don't expect a 235 or even a 174, but I certainly expect him to get to triple digits. I'd give him the same as the Sean Tucker projection here. Guess a bet on Sean Tucker is not really expecting uh, Bucky Irving to get it back together, and yeah, I don't want to bet on that. So maybe I won't be taking a ton of Sean Tucker. I think this is this is how I have it right here, right now. 3 picks away, 4 guys in the queue. Feel good about it. I like him. I like him. And I really like him. Look at that. Woo! After pick 200. What do we? 300 points, 67, unlike the most broken offense the NFL has ever seen. Oof, man. I think it's realistic. Ugh. I do not like the running backs. I'm taking my Sean Tucker, maybe being done at RB at 5, even after not touching it early. Interesting. I know. Might have to throw another pick at it. Tank Bigsby feels like he could do something real, even without Saquon going down, which I don't envision happening. Caleb Johnson had just the worst possible rookie season. I bet against him. I traded up in Dynasty and selected um, our friend in Denver over him. And yeah, I did not. I had to kind of split hairs, and I did not see him have that bad of a rookie season. There's no possible way it could be any worse his sophomore year. Like, he's gonna see the field, he's gonna get opportunities. He had relatively high draft capital. He's a talented guy. He actually was remarkably consistent, if I remember correctly, in college, versus like some of the other boom bust guys. And I expect that um, kind of underlying talent to win out versus kind of the variance that was his rookie year. Um, Also, he's no longer a rookie, so maybe Aaron Rodgers will like stop being so rude to him, or maybe Aaron Rodgers won't play. Who knows? All right, I guess it's early to take Mims. I think Njoku's gonna go get himself a big contract and play well somewhere outside of Cleveland. I think he's gonna be viewed as the best tight end on the market. I know there's like K Dotton out there, who's actually like way younger than Njoku. So, I don't know. Maybe the market rewards him, but Njoku's a stud, and I certainly expect him to perform a lot better than he did last year with like a broken offense that I don't know, was like featuring its rookies so people to get fired, and maybe that's why Harold Fannin did so well. No, I actually think Harold Fannin is a great ball player, but I think Njoku's like better than we saw last year. So either way, happy to gobble him up in the late rounds of these. I've been doing so a ton. All right, we're 7 picks away. Let's see if we can find what my exposure looks like. Boom. Okay. Yep, this looks right. Um, Quarterback, spreading it out. Quite a bit of Brissett. Um, as you can tell, I wait on quarterback. Down here at the bottom, you'll see some of the more popular names. I guess, I'm still getting 8, 9% of some folks. Running back here. Yeah, I like Saquon where he's going. Obviously, James Conner, who we hit. See 1 pick away. I don't think I can bring myself to draft a fourth tight end. It just doesn't make any sense. So let's see if Dallas decides to get Flournoy more involved, just in case Pickens falls through. Could end up being a pretty valuable stack there, especially if CD Lamb gets injured late and he has a 2 touchdown game. It's not impossible. Um, I think that's why you really want to make sure you stack up these late round picks. If you don't already have a team that you want to just like get some good veteran value in these late rounds, that's probably the smartest way to allocate a 19th and 20th round pick is veteran wide receivers that we're pretty sure are going to be on the field a fair amount. Perfect example is Keenan Allen going in the 20th round, if at all. I think he gets signed, re-signed there. Got Darnell Mooney is another option who fits that description. I think he stays there, but I think maybe my favorite of this cohort is Mr. Rashad Bateman. Talented, good offense, just seems to have some bad luck. Zay Flowers, I thought really took a step forward this year and maybe might, um, require a little bit more of the defense's attention. And that could open things up for, again, the talented and fast Rashad Bateman, who, what was he, a first round pick, early second round pick? You know, guy's a stud. Happy again taking these late rounds. Mason Taylor, he's still on the board, coming up at pick 200. I don't need him. I want him. I don't need him though. Yeah, this is a crapshoot here at the end. I've been gravitating towards Ollie Gordon. He showed enough as kind of a goal line guy that I think he could maintain that role next year. Um, I don't think that team's going to be great, so they might just kind of have garbage time opportunities, which, I'll take my points how I can get them. And teams that are bad could have more garbage time opportunities. Okay, 2 picks away, and it does get thin. Pacheco could be a guy. He could be a guy. Um, he's got that intensity that teams like. We do like Keenan Allen. We do think Keenan Allen can score some points. I'm gonna do it. Oh, do we who do we get? Ollie Gordon. Boom. Picked. Little early, but hey, we might need him when all these old guys get banged up. Yeah, it's good to get some youth there. Okay, we're good on tight end. We're good on quarterback. And actually, I'm happy I got Ollie Gordon with the Malik Willis, who that's where I expect him to end up. It reminds me, maybe we got a good Malik Washington. Yeah, look at this. Nice consistent up into the right trend of targets, receptions, yards, touchdowns, giving him 17 rushing attempts. You love to see it. Happily round out my draft with the expected landing zone of Malik Willis to Miami to give me my eighth wide receiver, a nice, comfy, classic, traditional 3-6-8-3 build. Um, you know, they say you don't like the way your teams look if you don't draft a running back 2 out of your first 3 rounds. Well, I think this team looks pretty good. 3 straight wide receivers. Um, we stacked that 3rd quarterback there. How necessary is that? We don't know, but injuries to Bo Nix and Dak Prescott aren't the strangest things. We've seen those before. Uh, running backs here that can score points, a lot of goal line guys, and that's all you need is a couple of touchdowns sometimes to get the job done in best ball. Wide receivers, I actually love it. Feel very good about this. And oof, George Kittle comes back by like week 4. Good night. Njoku finds himself in a cush landing spot in free agency, and I think Sam Laporta is definitely due for a bounce back season. Let's see, Lucky Presto is going to bring us on home, and then I actually get to see what this draft room looks like when a draft ends. So let's take a gander at what that looks like. Okay, it doesn't like boop, throw me out of the draft or anything. Here we are. Feel good about it. So now let's go and see if we can find that. Gotta be this guy. It is this guy. Huh. Not easy to see all of the teams. All right. Well, that's the first draft. I'm going to get better at this. I definitely realize that. I'm not always firing on all cylinders on some of my thought process, especially as draft picks are coming up. So, good learning experience for me. I'm going to be writing up a newsletter that's a bit more tactical, as well as provides a bit of my background into how I got into this. I won the Pomeranian in 2024, maybe it was 2023, but took down the Pomeranian, advanced 16 teams into week 17 across all underdog best ball tournaments last year. And that was significantly more than people that were doing three, four times the amount of teams as me. So feel pretty good about my ability to consistently advance teams and then put up a big score when it matters in week 17. Follow along if you want to see how I'm building these teams and learn a thing or two. Maybe you can start out, build that bankroll, and end up taking down an underdog tournament as well. All right. Talk to y'all later on the next stream. Bye bye.